13, 12. It's been a while. I've been here for a while, and I love you. I love you so much. When I tell you I wake up because of you, I am here because of you. I hate Taylor's voice because of you. I can't stand Tayla because of you. I love Tayla. I don't care what she does. I show up. I support. I'm in the building. If I can't show up, I'm sending somebody to show up on my behalf with letters and hugs. I thank every single last one of you. I'm in my feelings. If I cry, I'm a punk, y'all. I'm a punk. I think you know, if you've been listening long enough, you know I'm a punk. I've always been a punk. That probably won't change. That'll be forever. But I might cry today. I might shed some tears. They might roll down my face. So YouTube and Facebook will probably catch all of it. Lord have mercy. There's so much to talk about. One of the things I want you to always remember is to do your due diligence. And all you'll get some understanding. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. Rejoice and be glad in it, because just like...
Welcome here to People's Academy.
Well, shout out to T. Michael Thomas, because the People's Academy has a new website, and that just pulled up out of nowhere. The peoplesacademyinc.org. The new website is up and running. Shout out to T. Michael Thomas. Shout out to all of the work that he does. Shout out to all of our community members, our supporters. Shout out to all of the past people that supported us. I can't really call them sponsors, but they were connected. They supported, they loved us, and we loved them. And the People's Academy was one of them. As far as news is concerned, there's a lot going on in the news. I just want you to be mindful. I want you to forever educate yourself. I want you to forever do your due diligence. Oprah is waiting for me, and I gotta go when she calls. Speak that into existence, y'all. Oprah the OWN network greenlights the third season of Queen Sugar. I just tuned into Queen Sugar. I absolutely love it. It's a dope show, and I identify with the alpha female. I just hate the fact that they're crying all the damn time. Can they stop crying? Sabir Bay, what's going on? Peace and blessings. Michelle Obama, former First Lady Michelle Obama, teams up with Spotify to help students prepare for college. I love everything that Michelle Obama does. Everything she touches is absolutely amazing. Keep doing what you do, baby. We need more women like Michelle Obama. We need more women kicking down doors, more history makers. As you know, Trump is okay with police roughing and not being too nice with suspects. Why you gotta put your hand on their head? Like, put your hand on their head. Like, I'm trying to take care of you. Like, seriously? That's neither here nor there. I could spend all day on a Trump, but we won't. All members of the Burundi's first robotic team have disappeared in Washington, D.C. 2 members were seen crossing into Canada, and others have not been seen anywhere. So 6 teenagers from East Africa, the country of Burundi, I could be pronouncing that incorrectly, you know, malapropisms are real, traveled to Washington, D.C. for the first Global Challenge International Robotics Competition. 2 of the teens were sighted crossing the border to Canada. It is suspected that the 2 teens are seeking asylum in that country. If that is the case, the teens could either be detained or allowed to stay in the country on bond. All 6 Burundian teens had 1-year visas to stay in the U.S. The D.C. police claim they have no evidence of foul play in their disappearance, particularly given that the team's coach says that they left the keys to their room in his bag. Nonetheless, the teens have been labeled missing persons by D.C. police, who are now working to find the missing teens. But one of the things that is not highlighted in the story, and one of the things that I want you to consistently be mindful of, is language. Is what are they framing the narrative for you to understand? What are they framing the narrative for you to think? I'm completely out of the box. I want you to think out of the box. I don't want you to be a conspiracy theorist, but I do want you to think about things that may not be as pretty as the picture that they're trying to paint for you. Okay? But I just wanted to add to the fact that the first robotics team, international robotics team, can you imagine what their intelligence was able to create? What those minds could achieve. Those genius, because you have genes in us. Shout out to Keith L. Brown. I loved it. Every single last one of us is a gene because the genes are in us. Genius. But we don't think about that now, do we? Thanks to these new rules, transplant rules, African Americans will have more access to kidneys. If you only knew how disproportionately we are on that heart transplant list. We are on those kidney lists. We are on liver lists. Can you understand that when it comes to numbers and statistics, that gap, that is a racial gap in the healthcare industry that nobody discusses, that nobody wants to talk about. I'll go ahead and post this report along with others. If you guys aren't getting the reports, they're on the Wake Up with TaylaAndre page. So there's a TaylaAndre, TaylaAndre, with a picture of me and my husband, Nas. There's another one with me at the Hidden Colors event a couple years back. I'm holding a piece of paper that says TaylaAndre. That's the overflow, because I'm no longer allowed to add any friends, or I have no more friends on the Nas one. And then we have the Wake Up with TaylaAndre. That is the show that originally came from Say It with TaylaAndre. The origins of Say It with TaylaAndre go all the way back to 2007 when I was on Goodfellas Radio, International Radio, and I would say it like, say it, Tayla, say it. So I named the show Say It with TaylaAndre. When I came into my own here at Big City, I changed that name and it became Wake Up with TaylaAndre. And that page has been running for over 4 or 5 years now. And waking up is not about the ass crack of dawn. Trust me, it is not. If I could have my way, it'll be 5 p.m. right now. But waking up with TaylaAndre is about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Y'all, we gotta wake up. And we have to wake up in every sense. We have to wake up our spirituality. We have to understand our spirituality. Where does it come from? Where does it hail from? Where do we originate from spiritually? Not religiously. I said spiritually, baby. We need to wake up our senses. Not just the touching and the smelling and the tasting, but wake up your sense, your sixth sense. Wake up that sense of being true to yourself and knowing who you are. Being that sixth sense that tells you when to run away, when to walk away, when to talk to somebody. How many of us do not follow our first mind? How many of us do not, you knew, something told you to pick that up and put that in your bag, and you didn't listen. Something told you to shut off the stove or that rice was finna burn. Like little simple things that we do not listen to ourselves. Wake up your senses. Wake up your third eye. Sit down, meditate, be in silence, be in solitude. It's okay to be alone sometimes. And just listen to what's around you. You're so ready to talk to God. You're so ready to ask for things. But when's the last time you listened for the things that you need to do in order to achieve the things that you're asking for? Waking up. Sexuality from Motivational Monday to Freaky Friday. Wake up your sexuality. Try new things. Spice it up in the bedroom. Unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. That's the type of stuff I'm into. If you can't stimulate my third mind, baby, don't think about touching me. Ladies and gentlemen, Rep. John Lewis breaks down as he relives racist terror he faced during sit-ins. The civil rights activist calls the hatred he experienced surreal. And that man is still here today. Give him his flowers. I met him in Atlanta a couple years back, and I've been looking for that interview. So if I have to travel to Atlanta to go sit down with him, we just might have to make that happen. But he said, we have come a distance. We've made progress, he said. But there are forces in America trying to slow us down or take us back. He said, it's surreal. It is real. Exactly what happened. How painful it is to hear those scenes, to remember that. He said he was shaken to his core. And those memories are memories he will never forget. He's not the only one. Do you guys remember when we had this show with Mimi and Darnell Williams of the NAAC, of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts? I misspoke. Mimi was the young woman who was in the pool when the racist manager was pouring acid in the pool. And that candid conversation where I just sit back and listen to them speak. And that candid conversation they had talking about the South coming up. These are elders that are living today that can give you accounts of history that have shaken them, that have moved them, that inspire them to do the work that they do now. But in all you're getting, get some understanding, baby. And we don't get it. We do not get it. We don't understand what they went through. We take for granted the liberties, the freedom that we have today. We have no worries in comparison to what Representative John Lewis went through, what Mimi went through, what Darnell Williams went through, what your grandparents went through, and they're still living. What about your great-grands and your great-great-grands? And talking about your great-grands and your great-great-grands, there's a ER Bills. If you are not following ER Bills on Facebook, please do. ER Bills is an author out of Texas. He discusses everything, like all of the things that have ever happened in Texas as far as the racial history is concerned.
I was going to answer that.
Just please go straight.
I'm reclaiming my time. Lord have mercy, where is it? ER Bills spoke about the racial history, and yesterday was the day of remembrance. It was the 100th year anniversary of a black man that was lynched, and not just lynched, but he was burned. And he talks about, aside from all of the men that gathered around this burning flesh, like, whose great-grandchildren are these? He tells the entire story. And I post them often, and they're very long. And I understand that our attention span is all of this big. So I would ask you to do your due diligence and read it. Read the entire thing. Read the story behind the photo, because we know these iconic photos. We know the men hanging out of trees. We know the photos with the burning body so bad that you can't even see that his limbs used to be limbs. We know the historic pictures. ER Bills paints the picture of what happened and why these photographs are the way they are. I want to thank ER Bills. He has amazing books. If you are anywhere on Amazon, please check him out. Aside from that, he's on Facebook, and you can get basically everything that's in the book. I'm going to tell you a little. If you just follow him on Facebook, you don't have to read the book. Good Rising, Grand Rising. You don't have to read the book. I want to give a huge shout out to a Virginia couple who created an online community for woke bookworms. It's not uncommon for you to walk into a bookstore looking for your favorite books about Black culture, written by Black authors, but they're never in stock. They never have them. You always have to order them online. So this couple has created an online bookstore called Mahogany Books, where they provide a large selection of literature for, by, and about Black people. All Black people. Latinas, where's my Dominicans, my Puerto Ricans, my Cape Verdeans, my Mexicans? Y'all think y'all exempt. You're Black. I wore my I Love Black People shirt on the plane, and there was an Indian girl who said, I love your shirt. I said, I love that you love my shirt because you understand that I love you too. And she was like, yes, my people don't understand it. I thought Indians would identify. They super chocolate. They have a beautiful tan line, actually. Like, their natural complexion is gorgeous. And I love the fact that she loved my shirt of me loving Black people. If you have any melanin in your skin, boo, you considered Black, in my eyes. There is a city in the sky, or is there? Building seen floating above China baffles onlookers and fuels wild speculations of parallel universes. What appears to be a floating city has appeared in skies above China. Footage apparently showing skyscrapers poking through the clouds. The sightings fueled speculations of alien life in a parallel universe. But whether experts have another explanation for the phenomenon, we will find out. But this is not the first time that we have heard of this. The Day City floating over Dulali Village in Buchi. So, I don't know if you guys remember me reading the story about, I want to say a year and a half ago. But there were African villages, and they were like, as clear as day, we saw an entire city. We live in a village. We're not on drugs. We aren't, smoking, drinking, sniffing anything. The city was right here. It has XYZ buildings. I can tell you everything about it. And one of the villagers even drew a picture of the city that they saw. I don't know what your speculation is, but I think it's kind of cool. And it's unexplainable. And people are like, oh, it's a mirage. Your eyes were playing tricks on you. The way that the sunlight came in, entire city with buildings with windows, huh? Please, pass me that drug. The ultimate holiday gadget. I want one. If you love me, send me one. A WT2, a Bluetooth headset, translate foreign languages in real time. So I just want one so I can go to the nail shop and hear them talking about me. That's all I want. That's it. No other purpose, no other reason. That is it. Just so I can understand whether or not they're talking about me. Because I feel self-conscious about my little chubby feet. And I know she's like, oh, this fat girl has no toenails. Like, I just want to hear her say it in real time. Tayla, you're dumb. I know, baby. I know. DC cop is currently under investigation for wearing a shirt with a KKK symbol while on duty. This picture has gone viral. It needs to continue going viral. And this type of behavior needs to be stopped in its tracks, period. There needs to be no conversation about it. Because if this is how you feel while you're on duty, I can only imagine what you think and how you feel while you're off duty. Thank you for your honesty. I see your true colors. He is currently on, he's been placed on non-contact status pending the department's investigation into the incident. And I wait. I'll wait for him to be like, oh, I didn't know what that meant. It was my dad's shirt. Whatever, in any excuse that they will find. I can imagine he will get his job back. Just like a racist cop that went ahead and made a video about Black people have met their match. But that's neither here nor there. I want to give a huge shout out to the African American Firearm Safety Course. Saturday, September 16th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Lower Mills Lodge. I'm really excited to be a part of this. I think we all need to exercise our rights. You have the right to bear arms, baby. Don't let anyone tell you differently. So I told you, we have an amazing guest today. I am so honored to have Cheryl Smith as the Wake Up with TaylaAndre, Big City 101.3 FM, our last guest. We have had some amazing history makers, and she is one of them. The reason why she is so awesome to me is not because her favorite color is purple, not because her favorite food is seafood, not because she believes don't let your yesterdays use up your todays, not because her vacation destination of choice is Africa, and I just came back from Addis Ababa, but because she is a journalist. She is a history maker. She is a publisher. She is a Delta. She is an African-American woman in media. And I thought, what better show, like what better guest could we have to end the Wake Up with TaylaAndre show? But a woman in media. Good rising, grand rising queen, how are you?
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. And I'm usually not speechless, but guess what, Tayla? Say I'm a Jersey girl too.
And she's a Jersey girl.
Yes. You talk about last show. It is a pleasure for me to join you and to talk about such an important topic. But God, you talk about so many issues, and I went back. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm listening to your shows and everything, and I say, you know what? There are women around this country who are on the microphone who are not just he and ha-haing for a brother who was the lead on that show. And so I applaud you, and more than that, I applaud the community service that you do, because so many people get in positions and they don't do anything unless they're being paid to do it. They're not passionate, and you have passion. So I like waking up with you, even though it's an hour earlier in the big city, but hey, it's worth it to me. So I feel honored.
Well, I am honored to have you. I thank you so much. And I have so many questions, and we have limited time. So I just want to jump into it. I want to know, I'm not going to reveal your age, Mama, but I do want to know if and how and when you have ever, as a journalist, as just a black person in media, let alone a black woman in media, how have you been able to navigate through this maze of impossibility?
That's a good question, and I'll tell you my age because next year I will be 60, and I will have 40 years as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so, I'm glad to be alive, and I wake up every day trying to do something to have earned that day on this earth. And then, too, plus I can say I did this little Facebook quiz on there, and they said, judging by your profile picture, they said I was 19, so I'll go with that. But I'm just going to keep going strong because there's some people older than I am who are doing a lot more, and sadly there are a lot of people who are younger than I am who don't get up motivated to earn that day. And I ask them, those who I meet, I say, why do you think you're still here? When we have little Siobhan, 13 years old, kidnapped and murdered because one of her family members stole drugs from some drug dealers, and so they tortured and killed the little girl, and you're still walking around this earth. Trayvon Martin should be graduating from college this year, and you're still walking around and you do nothing with your life. So I use every breath I have to make it work for me. And being a journalist, and I'll tell you that, and I talk about this and I write about it all the time because my passion has been with the black press. And it has been that way since I was growing up in East Orange, New Jersey, and wrote my first piece that ran in a local paper there. And it's been challenging even doing that, Tayla, because sometimes we don't respect our own. You can read it in the mainstream media and take it as gospel, and read it in a black newspaper where we really know what's going on, and you still don't want to believe it. You've got to have it You have to have somebody else validate you. So it's been interesting navigating. I went to an historically black college. I went to the Florida A&M University, and I love all HBCUs and want them to thrive and give. I had some of my best years there, and I taught at an HBCU, Paul Quinn College, and I taught at majority universities also. But when I go in that door, they know who I am, what I am, whose I am, and what I stand for. And sadly, I had a brother tell me I gave him a C because he was black. I said, you're darn right in so many words, because I did, because he acted like he was a man on campus, and he came in my class and didn't give like I expected a black man to do, and I sure did give him a C. So it's, I'm the secretary of the National Association of Black Journalists, and we're getting ready to meet in New Orleans next week. And we have a lot of issues on the table. This is not a good time for us, and it's not just because of 45. Because if people go back and look at some of the things that he says about the media overall,
he's right.
Black communities have been saying that for decades. We haven't gotten the coverage that we deserve. We haven't gotten the commitment, the support. Some schools don't see journalists walking in the door unless there's a fight or mold or something, or a teacher sleeping with a student.
Yep.
But they don't come in when we have, young student bust out, high scores on SAT or ACT scores, and they accuse him of cheating, and he comes back, he takes it over and scores higher. We don't get those type of stories. So we have some challenges as we move through navigating through the media, and guess what? We have a great equalizer, because you said this was your last show. I want to know where you're going, and I also know that we know that the internet is the great equalizer. And I broadcast live I did radio for 22 years, and I broadcast live from Senegal and Cameroon. And so it equalizes things for us, and it enables us to get the word out that folks don't necessarily want. When I hear people that I know, or people that represent us, one of the biggest, it was really a travesty here in Dallas when Ebola struck. And Reverend Jesse Jackson came to town. So you even had Negroes saying, why is Jesse here? Why is Jesse here? He's just following the cameras. No, boo-boo. Wherever Jesse goes, the cameras follow him.
Yeah.
And then, too, the family called Reverend Jackson and asked him to come because they wanted to shed some light on the treatment they were giving. So, we tend to do what we shouldn't do, what my friends, public enemies say, don't believe the hype. We do believe it, and we turn against our own. We're disrespectful to them. We make comments about those who are out there speaking. If you have a problem, what are you doing? What are you doing to make it better? You say, okay, we're going to talk about the media today. There's probably somebody who listens to your show saying, well, we should be talking about education. We should be talking about health care. But I know from your shows you talked about everything from family violence, domestic violence, health care, voting, and some people still sit on their butts. So I got up this morning because I said this is so important, because this sister is she's using that microphone as a platform, as her mission, as a way to educate, inform, enlighten, and not just entertain us into a false sense of security.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I wake up at the crack of dawn, literally, because I love my people. And the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. So if I can be that conduit to knowledge, then use me. Use me in every way, in any way. And the truth of the matter is, Cheryl, I don't know where I'm going after this. I just know that there was an article. My name was in this article, and I don't play with the federal government because I do aspire to continue on FM. I do aspire to continue with, I'm waiting for Oprah to call me. That's what I'm that's what I'm really waiting for. I'm waiting for Oprah to call me. But I love my people. I want to educate my people. I believe that we need the knowledge and we don't have access to it. When it comes to media, we don't have the same coverage. Like you said, we never see the cameras come into the school unless. But take it a step further. We never see anybody that looks like us on television when it comes to news unless we're on the other side of that mic and we're being interviewed trying to look like fools. If you look at some of like the clips on YouTube of funny or hilarious or ghetto or anything along the line of inappropriate news stories, it's always us looking the fool. It's always us not speaking eloquently, missing teeth. Like they always portray us as these animals, as these beings that didn't attend college and don't have an education, and just it bothers the heck out of me. And if I can be one of many, because there are so many of us out here, whether they're journalists, whether they're bloggers, whether they're vloggers, whether they're just out here, the young people that are working in media on a whole nother level, the YouTubers, the Instagrammers, just getting the knowledge out. Next question that I wanted to ask you was, as far as media is concerned, one of the things that I always tell my listeners is do your due diligence and be mindful of the narrative that is being framed for you. Through your career, what have you noticed, if any, changes as far as narratives are concerned? When you go back and you look in the early 1900s in the newspapers about, the black man that whistled at a white woman and, the savages over there. Like, when you look at media, how much growth have we actually accomplished?
Oh, let me tell you, I told you I love the black press, and I have, and now that I own newspapers, I say, you know what? There was a time if you saw Eyes on the Prize or if you saw Soldiers Without Swords, you saw that the other papers would not refer to titles that you give to that we earn, like doctor or attorney, or even something simple as Mr. and Mrs. So I take that to heart. So last week I was tweeting and I was saying, if you go to Prairie View A&M University, do not call Dr. Simmons Ruth. I don't care how much she says, because, here you have a college president, telling the students to call her Ruth. I said, you can call her Doc, you can call her Doctor, you can call her Prez, you can call her Dr. Ruth, but don't call her, don't call her Ruth. It just sticks,
it's disrespectful.
To the very heart of things, of disrespect, because we did not honor folks' titles. Now, fast forward, because people a decade or so ago, they were complaining about Tyler Perry, said, call me Mr. Perry. Well, guess what? Probably because he was nice and said, call me Tyler. And then somebody trying to show that they are bigger than they are, probably saw him walking around with some folks that came up to him, yo, Tyler, what's up, man? And they was probably walking around with some multi-million-dollar potential funders. And we do things inappropriately and disrespect our own. And so for Dr. Ruth to do that, as we deal with people disrespecting and still wanting to label us, calling Condoleezza Rice Condi. No. Call her by her position, call her by the many positions that she holds, give her that respect. And so with the press, I see changes, but I also see that they still tend to want to tell me that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is controversial. They still want to pick fun at Reverend Al Sharpton or Reverend Jesse Jackson, and we buy into it. And I was talking to your producer, and when I was talking to Nikki, I told her, I said, I'm gonna listen to the show and everything, because sometimes I get called to be on shows, and I don't come on to play. There are other things I do to play, and there's a time and place for everything if you have balance. But I was on the show, and this was one time when they were talking about Harry Belafonte, and I think him and some younger person, got into a discussion about something. And so they wanted to come bad on Harry Belafonte. And I just told them, I know the work that he has done, and so I'm going to kind of yield to Mr. Belafonte on this and let him have his say, because he has been there in the trenches when many of us haven't. And, and that brings, back to your point about seeing things evolving. I am seeing that maybe it's not at the same level that I see when my aunt died like 5 years ago. And every time I would go down to Florida to her house, she would have the black newspaper there, the Florida Sentinel. And she would have an envelope on her table every week for the person who came by and picked it up to pay for her paper. And so when she died, I called my cousin and asked her, I said, do you still get the paper? And she said, oh, yes, we still get it. And I just loved hearing that, because so many times we think what we do is inferior, and we don't even realize that we, I have some good friends who have been written about in papers that I've done over my long career, and when they put up their websites and everything, they'll put up a story that was in the Dallas Morning News or in the New York Times or in a little neighborhood weekly. There's an alternative paper, but they won't shout from the rooftops that they were in the Dallas Weekly or the Dallas Examiner or the Houston Defender. You get that type of mentality that you're dealing with. But I just keep on going on, because like even at our convention next week, we are going to be honoring 98-year-old Garth Reeves, there's a Garth Reeves distinguished chair at Florida A&M University. He's the publisher emeritus of the Miami Times, and he's only worked at one job his entire life, a 77-plus year member of Omega Psi-Phi. This is still in his right mind and active and will be there, a true gentleman. And, when I go to conventions of the Black press, I'm around those people who are still trying to get to the story, who are still trying to get to the root of things and ask questions, and don't feel like, I got to write something negative about my people so that white people will love me.
Okay, so let's talk on that. So shout out to the publicist, Nikki Curry. I love everything you do. She is not cheap, but she is the best at what she does. One of the things that she just said is, when it comes to media, Black people are always walking on eggshells. There's certain things we can't talk about. There's certain things that we can't touch on. There's certain, there's certain angles that we can't hit. We have to, make our point, but go around the bush a little bit for white fragility. And I'm asking you, you've been in the business for so long. How have you been able to navigate? Has there ever been a point in time where you had an editor who was just like, no, we're not running it at all. Nope, it's not going to happen. Have you ever had a radio show that you really wanted to touch on? They're like, listen, that's unacceptable. You can't, no, stop, don't. But has there ever been a time as well, the opposite, where it was just like, you know what? We needed that. That was graceful. That was tasteful. Yes, please do more of that.
Well, I remember right before a Million Man March, and I wanted to feature Minister Farrakhan on the cover of, and this is a Black newspaper, and the general manager, Black guy, was like, live it. No, you're going to impact our advertisers and everything. And he was like really on me about not doing it. And I said, you handle the sales side, I'll handle the editorial side, because I guarantee you that people will respect us for putting it on there. The people who I'm trying to reach will respect us, and maybe they'll support us more with their dollars and everything. Well, long story short, we did run Minister Farrakhan except the whole front page. And then when the minister came to speak, he held up the paper in front of over 10,000 people in the audience, and he said, we have the paper here, the person from the paper here, and he asked for them to stand, and, they knew where I was sitting.
Yes, baby, yes!
But I tell you what, I looked over where the general manager was sitting. Do you know he stood up too?
He better take several seats. Sit down, be humble, because you didn't even want me to run the story.
He stood up to her and said, look at there. And I kept on. I said, I know. I have my finger on the pulse of my community. I'm not scared to walk in the hood and see
I know that's right.
See a young brother throw a bottle down and say, hey,
pick it up.
Pick that up and put it in the garbage. Don't do that to our neighbor. That's the type that I am, I've gone down. I was mentoring to young kids, and this is, I shouldn't say this, but my sorority was doing I Have a Dream program, and we said we were going to do children, and I said, well, they said, do you want females or males? And I said, well, give me males. I said, because I don't want to be trying to correct a young sister, and I have to fight her mama. So give me young men. And I went and pulled one of them off the corner where some brothers had him selling drugs, and I said, you better get in this car. And they said, people here tell me I better stop acting like I'm from Jersey, but I am. And then I can remember back when the AIDS was just coming out, surfacing. And I sat down with a young brother, and he talked about how black people had their heads in the sand and how his family had ostracized him. So I wrote the story, and at that time I was freelancing, and I took it to a black newspaper, and the publisher said, oh no, my readers won't like this, and he would not run it. So I went and I shopped it around to another one that I ended up going to work for full time, and they ran it, and I just said, why, the young brother spoke to this very subject. He said he was going to die alone, and this was at a time when it was really early on, and someone said, did you shake his hand? And I said, well, yes, I did. And, but we have not been compassionate, and that was one thing that people were missing, those who had HIV. When somebody found out that they had HIV or they were infected with the AIDS virus, and they died, we were busy asking, how did they get it? And I don't care how they got it, and we weren't asking, so that we could protect ourselves. We just wanted to know, well, how'd they get it? It didn't matter. They have it, and it's a subject we need to talk about, which unfortunately some still don't want to talk about today. So we take one step forward and we take a few back. I'm doing a piece now because I'm going to be writing about how people are saying that older people need to step aside and let the young leadership come up. And, we need to work together. There needs to be a little bit more respect there that is not there. But I was telling some folks, I said, Washington doesn't work on the young. It may work on the new and improved depending on who you are. But I hung around there, and I saw just most recently that the only young person that seemed like he had a little clout walking through the halls was the young Kennedy. And he's going on his name. But Washington, D.C. respects seniority.
Yes, they do.
Even where your office is going to be located, the positions that you hold, everything, is centered around you. You need to have 10, 20, 30 years in there. But we would rather attack one another, and I'm talking about we black people, would rather attack one another then we'd never run against some white folks sometimes. We'd never, and we will say single member districts, that this district it has been drawn this way so that you can have black representation. Do you think white folks won't run for that position?
They sure do, and they win because many times in that position, we don't even know what they do. We're like, they're running for what? I don't know her. We don't vote. We don't go to voting booths. There's a lot. There is so much. You touch on so many subjects. I remember when AIDS first came out, my uncle was diagnosed with AIDS. Nobody wanted to touch him. It was a death sentence once upon a time. People didn't live like Magic Johnson. And as far as like the young and the old, I really believe you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and some of these elders that are in position of power have been sitting there for years on their name recognition alone, and the young people should be able to work with the elders, and I'm all for respect. Have some manners, have some respect, treat your elders a certain way, but I do think there needs to be an intergenerational conversation when it comes to everything, not just politics, not just media, but an intergenerational conversation where we can work together. How much could we alter if we actually work together? And we, as far as black leadership running against each other, right now we have some of the most influential, affluential individuals fighting against each other. And I feel like the Black and Latino caucus needs to come in and say, listen, you sit down, be humble. You sit down, be humble. Put your support behind this one person so we can get somebody in who's going to handle business instead of dividing and spreading out votes that could actually be going into changing some things. Everything that we complain about, there is a solution, but we too busy worried about, but I don't like the way he talks, and I don't like the way she dresses, and instead of worried about who's going to fix the problems or help us work together to fix the problems in our community. So I am 100% with you. For those who do not know, we are currently on the line with the National Association of Black Journalists, Secretary Cheryl Smith. She is absolutely amazing. Even though she's a Gemini, you would think she was a Taurus because her and I are one in the same, baby. Because she kidnapped kids like I kidnapped kids. Hey, get in the car, pull up your pants, pick up that trash. Why you littering? So we have more similarities than I thought we did. But I admire the fact that you've been in journalism as long as you have. I have a personal question because I am not a journalist, or I've never been able to properly identify as a journalist because I was one of those children that was left behind. When it comes to my education, I could not read at all. I told a story yesterday about being in 5th grade and not being able to properly read. And at 5th grade, you should be able to know how to pronounce knives. I was pronouncing it knife, and it was because my teachers allowed me to learn or speak African American vernacular. So for me, my personal question is, since I'm not a journalist, but I am so engulfed in truth, since I am a horrible writer, but I can convey and express and communicate verbally, how am I able to, or how should I be able to connect or merge, or like, how do I become a journalist even though I'm a horrible writer?
And see, I listen to your shows. You disseminate, you gather, research, and disseminate information. That's what journalists do. And I think sometimes we get caught up, and there are times when, I hear that folks say, and Samuel L. Jackson said, I heard him face to face say he did not say that when they said he came down on, talking about rappers getting acting roles. But, when you have people study their craft for so long, and, even if you look in radio and you look at a lot of the hosts today, they are not, there was a time when the industry was making stars. Now the industry wants you to come in as a star. You need to come in with so many thousands of followers on social media and stuff. And you bring that to the table. You articulate the issues. You do your research and everything. So I would be proud to call you a journalist because it is in contrast. What you have is you have some women on the radio and say, "Oh, you're so funny, hee hee ha," and we sound, I won't say what I say we're doing, but we can uplift the man without giving away all of our intelligence, so we just sound like a dumb sidekick. You practice the basic tenets of journalism, and you do your research. You do your research, and you ask the questions, and you have a very intelligent audience too. Let me tell you, sometimes we have to step out there. I'm print journalist. I consider myself to be the stealth bomber. I would come in, get my information, leave, write my story, and go on about my business. But the thing about it is, the more you're doing the right thing, you're going to find a microphone is going to be stuck in your face. And so there I was getting a call from a station manager saying, and he asked, "Can you say what you write?" And I said, "No." And then 22 years later, I was still doing talk radio where I had interviewed everyone from Minister Farrakhan to Diane Carroll to James Brown. I could just go through just a list of people.
Oh, can you please go through the list, and can we rub elbows? Because I've been trying to get Minister Louis Farrakhan for 7 years, nonstop, 7 years. So if we could just rub elbows and I could get some of that good luck.
Let me tell you, I don't know what the problem is, because he needed to be there with you. I mean, and it was, let me tell you what happened on my show. They actually played a tape. I came on Sunday mornings, and they usually play his tape. And that particular morning, I had him on the phone, and so I told my producer, board operator, I said, "We need to go on a little early because I have the minister now."
Yes, it's Cheryl Smith. I'll say it again.
People during his time, the phone lines are not ringing because you can't talk to anybody. And so when we started talking and he answered a question, and when he said Sister Cheryl, that's when they knew that it was live, and the phone line just lit up. And we just had a wonderful time. We talked about domestic violence, and it was so cute because I listened to one of your shows where you were talking about it, and I do believe that you shouldn't, you step out there. You need to be prepared to get it back. There's just some things and that's what I was teaching the young brothers that I worked with, and the little girls come around them. I said, I'm teaching him to not hit a young lady. I said, but if you hit him, I also told him to make it so you never want to hit another man again in your life. And so even when I was listening to the show, because I do believe there are some women who will hit.
I know what show she's talking about.
And hit. And I tell men, I say, just do a Casper, just disappear, and just get away from the situation, because some are not going to be satisfied with that. And you had mentioned on one of your shows that you didn't see a picture of the football player's wife, girlfriend, fiance, then wife, but you didn't see any pictures of Chris Brown that night either. And I tell you, there's more to that story than we all know. And it's an interesting, there's just some things you have to ask if all of that was going on. And why don't you see any pictures of, where's the mugshot of Chris being arrested?
Well, I have to say that I am thoroughly impressed because you watched a lot of show. Like, as you're saying things, I'm like, oh, I know what show that is. Oh, I know what show that is. And you're bringing you're bringing back memories for me of different shows that we've had. Cheryl, for me, can you go down a list of some of your favorite shows? And I wish we could keep you on the line forever, but I do want to say goodbye to my listeners. I would like to tell you a couple of my favorites. Okay, so Jane Kennedy was one of my favorites. That was the first time. Nikki Curry almost killed me with the Jane Kennedy. But Jane Kennedy, what was Jane's last name? She had a hyphenated name. Jane Kennedy, Jane Elliott, Lord have mercy, it escapes me. You name your favorite, and then I'll come back.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, this is really, one of my favorite interviews was with Teddy Pendergrass. And this was after his accident. But then also, I have to tell you, and this is really odd because I'm the type of person, I got interviewed for, I was running for office
Overton, you're right.
And a student asked me
I was
what
going to be
was
like,
one of my favorite books. And I said, see, I'm running to this office, I'm supposed to sound all intellectual and everything, or either be really spiritual and say the Bible or something. I said, but one of my favorite books was The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier, you know. And it's just Cheryl, because there were a lot of lessons that could be learned in that. But Rodney Perry, the comedian, young brother, my show came on at 8 o'clock on Sunday mornings, and he was in L.A. and did my show. And sometimes, you know how you get people on and they don't give their all?
Mr. Cheeks of the Lost Boys. Yep, I'll say it and I'll say it again.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, this brother had done research on me. Ooh. And he came in ready to go, and it was so wonderful, and we had such a good time talking, because even though it was 6 o'clock in the morning for him, he did not brush it off, because people will act differently when they're coming up than when they've made it. And, you know, he was a really good one for me. One of the most touching ones had to be, and you talked about Emmett Till, his mom, Mamie Till Mobley, and I, in fact, had her in studio. She's such a beautiful woman. And I did a special with my papers because I'm able to do that. And I talked about the talks, because just like a lot of parents sat down with their young boys and talked to them after Trayvon Martin got killed, she told us on my show, how she sat down with with Emmett, and talked to him and said, you okay? Money, Mississippi is not the same as Chicago. You can't do this and you can't do that, and there are different things you have to do. And, you know, she had that talk with him because, you know, we're still having that talk, and, you know, we're still hoping, but sadly we're seeing things where there was a time we could say, well, I know that wasn't, you know, a black person that did that. But now we have blurred the line so much, and we are taking on the ways of folks. We have shows that are being written that, no, I couldn't cuss in front of my mother. I said damn in front of my mother when I was 55. And I started apologizing, and I threw my brother and sister under the bus. I was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I said, your other kids curse in front of you, but I don't, you know, and because of the way we were raised. And the good thing that came out of an interview with Tyler Perry was that we talked about this whole Medea syndrome, because Medea does what? There used to be a woman in everybody's community did. It checked our kids, but now we don't have that woman checking, because they either out there getting high with them or scared to say something to them because they have to worry about a mama who they're going to have to cuss out. And I don't have no problem. I'll tell the kid, go get your mama. Let me talk to her.
Baby, we still big mamas. I might be young, I might be 34, but I'm Medea every day, all day. So you're Medea, I'm Medea, and then we still have a few people in the community that still conduct themselves. I want to give a huge shout out to Miss G, because I feel like Miss G will whoop a kid in the street and say, go get your mama. So we do still have those individuals that are in our community and doing right by our babies. I didn't realize how we are all the way coming to the top of the hour, and I really do want to say goodbye to my lovers, my loves. I love them so much. One of my favorite shows was Speech of Arrested Development. Melba Moore. Oh, that one was good. Oh, what was my baby's name? She, the orchestra of F.U. She said, baby, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And she had an entire, or Millie Jackson. Millie Jackson is by far one of my favorite interviews, because she was so blunt, she was so honest. She talked about her times with Rick James, and when I tell you that, like, that just made me feel some type of way to hear those stories. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for the work that you continuously do. I thank you for being who you are and fighting for our community and fighting for those babies and fighting for us. Yesterday I had a guest on the show, and he was talking about how all of us are genius because the gene is in us, and you are proof of a living genius. You are a history maker, and I thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to meet you in person and wrap my arms around you and hug you and thank you personally.
Well, I thank you for having me, and I also encourage you. You didn't do all of this. This prepared you for another place because we are constantly evolving, and we're going to have to get together. And, it's nothing but a phone call away. It's just to reach out and touch a few sky miles or advantage miles or whatever. But we have to keep, you have to keep rising to the top. You really do.
I will continue to follow my dreams until Oprah calls me. I will continue to follow my dreams, and I will continue to work on my skills to be a writer so I can transfer what I'm able to say onto paper. And I do feel at times that, quote unquote, people don't take me seriously because you're not a real journalist, and that does hit home for me. Like, that does hurt at times for me. But I am a work in progress, and I am working on my writing abilities so one day I can actually be a real journalist.
Please start taping it, get somebody to transcribe it. The best writers have editors.
Ooh.
And as long as you are working on it, there's some basic things, because I get stuff from people all the time who work for award-winning publications, and I'm just like, what? So, don't let anybody throw their insecurities on you, because I've had to deal with that coming from the black press, because people feel like, oh, she's with the black press because she can't get a job with a white newspaper. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. And then you get some black people who go and work for other institutions, and they don't want to cover the black story. They don't want to, I want to cover them. So keep on doing what you're doing, and know that anybody with any insecurities, the best way you can prove them wrong is to do you, because you are doing it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who are unaware, you're just now tuning in, Waking Up with TaylaAndre. It's not about the hour in which we wake up. It's about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I want you to think outside the box. I want you to be mindful. I want you to do your due diligence. And I want you to think about the narrative. What are they framing the narrative for you to think, and think the opposite? Take it at different angles and dissect it. Do not take what you read for gold. Don't take what you hear for silver. Like, do not believe anything. We are on the line talking with Cheryl Smith. She's a journalist. She's a publisher. She is a Delta. She's a Jersey girl. She's a Gemini. And she is my twin flame, because I feel like we are so alike. Her favorite color is purple. She likes seafood, and she loves Africa. So it sounds like we're going to have a trip together soon.
Hey, I'm ready to go. And I just have to tell you, that's why one thing, as we're watching what goes on, and a shout out to the Honorable Maxine Waters, but
yes!
Gregory is a good friend of mine. And I listen to him, and when something is going on that distracts you so much, there's something else going on behind that curtain that you need to be paying attention to.
Yes, ma'am. She said it, not me. I reserve my time.
Well, I'm going to give you this time to show love to an audience, because they love you. And I think it's the best way to put your action, and that's one thing that we have to move us to action. They need to be writing in. They need to be calling in. You need to give that number out to the switchboard. Let people call in and express, it may be time for you to move on and upward, but still they need to let people know what they are missing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, again, I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. Nikki Curry, the best publicist on earth. She's not cheap, but she's definitely the best. Thank you so much, Cheryl Smith. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, you, and I wish you could come to NABJ next week because a lot of people from OWN will be there actually, and usually we have the Deborah-Lees of the world and folks just from all across the country and around the world come there, and who knows? Would love to have you, and stay tuned because there will be some news coming out of that gathering because we have to make a difference in the world. We're not here. We're standing on the shoulders of Ida B. Wells, some people that Frederick Douglass, folks that stood up and, and did what they were supposed to do. And I just real quickly, I just want to tell you, because we had 4 women to be raped in Dallas, and they were raped because they were between the age of 55 and 65, and they were members of Delta Sigma Theta. And you want to know something? We dropped the ball across this country on framing the narrative for having a discussion about violence against women and speaking out. And that's what the Black press would have done. That's what the churches would have done. If it had been for lesbians, you would have heard from that community. And we were silent. And it just really, irked the heck out of me. So when you read my papers, I have Texas Metro News, the Garland Journal, and Our Messenger. Until we find the Black man who raped those women and then went undercover, until we find him, I have his picture, the sketch that they have of him, and a picture where they showed him leaving a security screen. They show him, and I say, who is this man? We dropped the ball, and we need to be more vigilant, and we need to hold our own accountable. And when they harm our people in our community, we need to speak up, and we need to make other people do it with us, and we didn't do it. But I know you got to say goodbye to everyone. I love you. I appreciate you, and we are going to get together, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Waking up with TaylaAndre. I am blushing. I am excited. Whew. Woosah, woosah, woosah. If you're just now tuning in, this is the Wake Up with TaylaAndre Farewell Show. And the reason why it's the Wake Up with TaylaAndre Farewell Show is because there are things that I desire that are bigger than big city. And I don't know the answers, Sway. I don't know in the ways in which I should go, but I am taking a leap of faith, and I believe. My God is so big, so strong, so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. So I am following in the path of what I believe is the right direction, and I hope you will follow me. I'm going to be transparent, as I always am. There is an article. It has been sent to me multiple times. My name is involved. It's butchered, but my name is in there. The show is in there, and I just want to do the right thing. And the right thing is for me to do the right thing the right way, if that makes sense. So in order for me to do that, I have to put this microphone down and pick up another one, and that one will be located at my home studio. I have people coming out to transform it so that we'll be able to YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and you guys that are following on Mixcloud and SoundCloud, you guys will get your updated juice, your vice. Then somebody hit me up on my inbox, was like, Tayla, you're my vice. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I have listened to every single last one of your shows. I'm like, baby, there's over 500 shows. She was like, I know, and I've listened to all of them. So I just want to say thank you to every single last one of the supporters, all of the listeners, everyone who loves me, everyone who hates me, everyone who hates me and still listens, those that have sent me messages and corrected me when I've pronounced things incorrectly, those that have called and say, Tayla, I don't necessarily agree with you, and these are the reasons in which I don't. I love that. I don't want you to agree with me. I'm not here for us to have like the same mind. We're not supposed to think the same thing. Challenge me like I challenge you. I've always welcomed that. I've always welcomed your phone calls, your criticism, your anger, your frustration. One of the things that I have to say that I love about this show is how much honesty we had. Do you guys remember the gentleman when we were talking about coming out, being gay, and the gentleman called and said, I think my son's gay. And he spilled all the, that was the fact that you guys trust me enough. To all my anonymous, everybody who's in the inbox, who shows love in the inbox, Tayla, don't say my name, but thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for trusting me enough with information that your wives didn't know, your husbands didn't know, information that nobody else would have known, but you allowed me to share on air so other people could live vicariously through your experiences. I thank every single last one of you that said, Tayla, I don't like it when you do XYZ. Can you change ABC? Tayla, I don't like the way you covered Black History Month. And then I came back and hit y'all in the head. Y'all remember last year's Black History Month? Whew. One of my favorite shows was Our Conundrum, when she did the systematic racism and nepotism, as well as Black Thought, when he spoke about Black pride is not white hate. We've had so many shows. One of my favorite Freaky Fridays was when Sex in Public. I think that was the #1 Freaky Friday show, Sex in Public. I have to give a shout out to all of the former co-hosts that we had. When my first show by myself, Wake Up with TaylaAndre, Anari and Asaria were in the building with me. They critiqued the heck out of me, Mom, you didn't talk right. There was a lot of dead air. I was horrible. I messed up. I couldn't get my thoughts right. I couldn't get my words straight. Shout out to Big D. Shout out to Amelie. Shout out to Jasmine Ray. Shout out to DJ Black Labels. Shout out to DJ Savuth. Shout out to all of the DJs that sent in their mixes. We've had DJ Chang from Florida. We've had so much love. GURPS Raw, Salt and Pepper, Salt's husband. Or is it Pepper's husband? Nikki, is it Pepper's husband? I think GURPS Raw was Pepper's husband, and he did investment with us. We've had Boston businesses, small businesses, and I posted a post yesterday about all of the fascisms, all of the companies that own other companies, that own other companies, that own smaller companies, and then when you actually look at it, everything in the grocery store is owned by 7 companies. Everything. Anything in a big box business is owned by 7 to 12 individual companies. And it made me think, if we continue to promote small businesses, how much money, and I thought about this while looking at a billboard yesterday, and it's just the new shampoo and conditioner, Gold. And it had 3 Black women, and they were beautiful, and they had gold shimmer on them. And I'm like, listen, it's the same product with a different label on it. You're not doing anything different. It's the same chemicals. It's the same nonsense with a different label to make it culturally appropriate for me to feel confident enough to pick it up and buy it. Go to your local, I don't care. If you don't like Faith Naturals, that's perfectly fine. If you don't care about a pum pum wash, that's perfectly fine. Her shampoo, conditioner, I hate her deodorant stank. However you feel, find somebody that you support in your local community and give them your money. Find somebody, find a designer. Stop spending $200, $300 on a pair of jeans. Go call Claude Michel. Ask him to make you a pair of jeans. We have so many designers here in the city of Boston. We have boutiques galore in the city of Boston. Stop giving your money to big box businesses that don't care about you, don't invest in your community, don't show up in spaces that you need them to show up in. When it comes to going out to eat and going to brunch and going to lunch and having a girls' day and going on dates. How many African themselves, the Nigerians, Suya joint on Dudley Street, frequent those that are in your community. Who you give your dollar to is who you give your power to. Who are you trying to invest in? And are they investing in you? I want to remind you to be politically and civically engaged. I want to remind you that 311 hold people accountable, whether it's police officers in your neighborhood, whether it's firefighters that want to park wherever they want to park, whether it's politicians that aren't doing the right thing. Hold those individuals, your teachers, everybody who profits off of your tax dollars, get control of your money by voting. Well, Tayla, I don't want to. Then get an absentee ballot. Get an absentee ballot. You don't want to go to the polls, that's perfectly fine. There's a will, there's a way. And if you want to change the way things are going on, well, you will have to do some things. In all you're getting, get some understanding. In all you're getting, in all the material things that you're getting, in all the physical things that you obtain, all of the things that you collect, in all you're getting, get some understanding. With your permission, I would like to end the show with somebody very special. Y'all don't tell her now, because y'all be snitching. I heard y'all be snitching. We shall see if she answers the phone. If she answers the phone, we gonna close out with my favorite lady. You know who she is. You know who she is. And I wonder if she has any, well, she probably know the number. Like, I ain't answering it. That's Tayla. She's trying to trick me again. She is not answering. Nana! Nana, pick up the phone. I know you hear me. Grandma. She gonna call me later. Like, I knew that was you. You called me when you were on radio. That's why I didn't pick up. But I really wish she would have answered the phone, and what she would tell me as far as today being the last show, what advice that she would give. I want you to pay homage to your elders. Give them their flowers while they're still living. Don't dare for 5 seconds forget the DavidBanner racial history. We are not our past here in Boston. Do not forget, go fund yourself. GoFundMe is not the new life insurance. Do not forget the financial empowerment conversations that we had. Do not forget the Professor Devin Robinson event that we had. How to open a Black-owned beauty supply store. Do not forget the work that was done here. October would have made 4 years waking up with TaylaAndre. And I need to give a huge shout out to Cheryl Smith, because one of the things that she said was, you are not a man's co-host laughing and giggling at his jokes. But I was the butt of the joke on another show. And I stepped out into my own, and I put myself out there, and there's some things about me that I wish y'all didn't know. I gave a whole lot of transparency, especially on Friday. I feel like you all know me like I know you. I feel like it's reciprocal. I don't feel like I just gave myself for no reason. I don't feel like it was in vain. I don't feel like, it was a waste of my time. These last 4 years were absolutely amazing. They were difficult. I'm an insomniac. I hate the risings, but we learned etymology, the importance of words and how spells work. The fact that your words, the power of tongue, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and the words that come out of your mouth are the thoughts that you create, or the words that you speak become the actions that you live, become the surroundings that you see. I want you guys to be mindful of the way you speak to yourself, that inner conversation that you have while driving, while showering, while cleaning, while eating, that inner conversation you have with yourself about the things you hate about yourself, the things you dislike about yourself. I can't believe you did this and I can't believe you did that. Be mindful of the way you speak to yourself. Love thyself. Know thyself. And you can't know thyself and love thyself if you don't dig deeper inside yourself. I want you to be mindful of the work that we have done on this show. I want you to be mindful of the things that you learned on this show. I want you to think about me when you're reading newspaper articles and watching the news. I want you to think about me when you're looking over your finances and thinking about purchasing a house, or when you look at your credit and say, you know, what would Tayla know? I'm not Jesus, don't do that. Don't do that. But in also, like, in all you're getting, get some understanding. Don't ever think that I'm gone. I'm not gone. I'm still here. You can always reach out. I'm always available. Whether it's for credit needs or real estate needs or financial needs, or I had people hit me up for things I didn't even think they would hit me up. Tayla, where that swingers club at, Tayla? Hold on, what? Tayla, what's that porn site you said with all black people? Like, y'all hit me up for everything. And one of the things that I didn't appreciate, or maybe I just took it for granted, but I had people asking me, like, who's your insurance company? Like, I want your insurance company. Who do you bank with? What boutique do you go to? I didn't think all that was important to you guys. I didn't know you guys cared about those type of things. Let me, transparency, because we won't have a Freaky Friday, so today is Motivational Monday and Freaky Friday. I had somebody ask me what yoni egg is inside of me. Tayla, do you think I could get one of your yoni eggs after you wear it? That was probably one of the creepiest things I've ever heard in my life. But I understand, like, no, I don't. I don't get it. But I respect it. I respect it. Is there anything that we're forgetting? I'm going to go ahead really quickly, read some of these comments. I'm going to cry, you guys. I'm going to cry because I'm not ready. But I am ready. I'm ready to see what's next. I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for excitement. I'm ready for possibilities. Like, I'm really, really ready. And yes, I'm trying to call Nana again. I'm going to stalk her. She needs to say bye, too. I feel like I can help you. Yes, please help me. I've been introduced to so many great people through this show, from Reggie B to Sabir Bay to Faith Scarlett to Omar. Hey, Nikki, I have a lot to do when I hit Boston. You are the voice of the people. You are a real journalist. Queen, you are a real journalist. The best writers have editors. Speak, Cheryl Smith. We need you, girl. Boston needs you. Black people need you. The world needs you. There's no other like you. Keep doing what you're doing. This is God's work, your purpose. Yes, Tayla. Tell Cheryl Smith. Well, I'm telling Cheryl that I'd like to rub elbows with her. I would like to see Farrakhan. I would like to meet everybody at OWN. Hopefully, Nikki Curry is already on that. I can't forget Zoe Williams. Yes, Zoe Williams. Everybody, and you know what? V from Tennessee, I have to say thank you for, like, I feel like you have made friends with all Bostonians off of this show. Like, people know you, people ask about you. Yo, you talked to V from Tennessee? I haven't seen him logged in recently. And I think that's hilarious. Keep doing what you do. This is an age of information, and now you don't need a radio station. We just support you on your own platform. Tanya, I love you, baby. I love you. I love you. This is part of the journey, not the destination. Shalonda, thank you so much for all of your love, for all of your support. We have to help Tayla on a new show, guys. I'm angry, but I will channel my energy to support her. We need to get you all the support in the world. Bless up, Miss T. The show doesn't end. You can still be mobile. You better not cry. You don't know me. You don't know me. V, you know me. I'm crying on the inside right now, and I'm trying not to let the tears leak. Yes, set up the studio at home. Who else? will almost make me crash every Freaky Friday. Larry Jordan, Great Rising. The politics is messed up and we must sit and speak one day. We can't be stifled. Much love. Continue to be great. Kick in the back door. Oh, that was a great show. Okay, maybe that was the number one show. Walk on me. Y'all remember the anal sex kicking she back door show for Freaky Friday? That was a good one. Thank you for the great service you provide to the community. Thank you for the great service you do, Mr. DePina, because you are running for mayor. I'm speaking into existence, huh? Congratulations, peace and blessings to you. And I wanted you on air, but maybe we'll do it off air. Maybe we'll just do a live. It don't even matter. You messed up. You're still awesome. Get your pum pum wash. I'm glad she's moving on from here. Tayla, to be honest and open. Okay, so we're going to read that off air. No matter what you do, you have the mindset to achieve anything, and you are great at what you do. Big up to you. Indeed, who you give your dollar to is who you give your power to. There's so many comments. There's hundreds of comments. Shout out to Alabama. Shout out to... we have listeners in Paris, France. We have listeners in Argentina. We have listeners in Australia. We have listeners in Ethiopia. We have listeners. I'm trying to think of all of the places where we have listeners. People hit me up. I said Australia, Argentina, Turkey. We have international listeners. So I want to thank all the international listeners. I want to thank Richie Rich for giving me a chance because he took a huge gamble on me. And you guys, make sure you give him a call on Thursday nights between 6 and 10. Give him a call and say thank you. Thank you for believing in Tayla because that was who believed in me. When Val and Neil called me the conspiracy theorist, when Val and Neil was just like, Tayla's crazy. When Val and Neil was just like, yo, I don't know what Tayla's talking about. Richie Rich was just like, I don't know what you be talking about either, but I'm going to give you a chance to figure it out. And together, I want to say that we figured it out. I know there's been times where I've been mumbles, malapropisms, mispronouncing, misspelling, I told y'all I can't read. I was honest. But I am going to miss the heavens out of you. I'm going to miss the honesty and the transparency. I'm going to miss the callers. I'm going to miss Mr. Nubian. I'm going to miss, I don't even know his name, but he calls all the time. He got bass in his voice. He sounds fine as hell, for real. But I'm going to miss every single last one of you. I'm going to miss Miss G. I'm going to miss those that didn't call, but still I could figure. You remember telepathically, I heard you, baby. I heard you. You didn't call, but I heard you. I'm going to miss y'all as well. I'm going to miss the anonymouses. And I'm going to miss playing weird songs that you guys fall in love with. Crazy songs, international songs, local songs that you guys fall in love with. And I am going to play it one last time. I'll put a finger in the butt right now. Just because I love you and I appreciate you. And I want nothing more but your peace and your joy and your happiness. I want nothing more but for your children to be safe, for them to know that they are loved, for them to receive the education that they deserve. The organizations, I will continue to work with them. If you guys have any questions, come to a C-Plan event. If you are a parent and you need help fighting for your child, come to a C-Plan event. Collaborative Parent Leader Action Network, aka the Parent Union. The teachers have a union, the bus drivers have a union, and C-Plan is our version of a parent union. Your voice matters. It has always mattered. Even when you didn't think your voice mattered, we were still over here fighting for you while you were over here talking about charter schools this and charter schools that. We were still fighting for BPS because all means all. I don't care if you live in Roxbury or West Roxbury. A child's education in the city of Boston, Massachusetts, when we have Harvard, we have MIT, we have Wentworth, there is no reason why every single last one of these schools and hospitals don't adopt any of these high schools, these middle schools, these elementary schools. There is no reason why our children should have anything less but a pristine education. We should have dual enrollment at Harvard, at MIT, at Wentworth for our Boston students. I will continue to fight for education every step of the way. Every step of the way. I promise you that. And it was based on my own experiences where I saw the bricks falling and children failing. And level 4 is an acceptable score. Having 70s and a 69 in English and math and reading is acceptable in a BPS school. That is unacceptable to me. Unacceptable to me. I will continue to fight against gentrification. I will continue to work on our credit. I will continue to put you in a home. I don't want to work with nobody that's looking for a rental. Why? Because $2,200 a month times 5, you could have bought a house. Let's work on your credit, because that's something that we fail to neglect. We got some parents out here with babies that got credit already and the baby can't even walk yet. Because grandma did it to you, because your grandma did it to mama, because mama did it to you. You gonna do it to the baby. When you know better, you do better. Let's fix our credit. Let's buy these houses. If we have to move to the suburbs, then so be it. At least you'll be a homeowner. But I'm telling you right here, as my last show, mark my word, Brockton is going to be the next Randolph. You remember when everybody wanted to live in Randolph? Y'all about to want to live in Brockton because they got the school system up and running. Some of the high school is better than a lot of the high schools here in Boston. For $250,000, you can get you a house in Brockton. If you have to move to the suburbs, move to the suburbs, baby. Just be a homeowner. Because I promise you, they're going to want the suburbs back, and you get to sell it and come back home. I love you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the Chica Project, Nudis Camargo, my mentor, Julia Mahia. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm scared as hell, but I'm ready. So I'm going to go ahead and play this song for you. I'll put a finger in the butt right now. And then I'm going to leave you. Is that okay with you? It's not okay. It's not okay with me. I'm not okay. But what options do we really have? Oh, so my computer just ain't gonna play no songs today. Okay. So you want me to sing it for you? Let's do a sing-along. I'm so serious. It's not playing though, baby. It is not playing. So I will have to post it on the Wake Up with TaylaAndre page because I don't know what's going on with my Serato, but nothing wants to be played. So what I will do is I do have an old song that I used to play on a regular basis, so I'll play that for you. How does that work? That works for you? Okay. So, how do I say goodbye? Hashtag no dapple. Let's see if that'll work. No dapple. Stuart James. Shout out to Stuart James. Oh, this will work. Okay. Hold on. It's working, y'all. But, those are our Facebook already know we can't listen to the song. So, we'll let the listeners listen, and Facebook and YouTube, you and I will spend some time together.
Poverty.
V from Tennessee, you knew damn well we can't listen to the song. We are off air. We are done up. I'm sad. I almost cried, but then I caught myself. I'm really sad, though. I don't want to go. I really don't want to leave. My folder isn't needed here anymore. My people been fighting before I was born. Hold on, let's see if I can do it one more time. Let's see if she answers. It is 6 o'clock in Birmingham. Where is Nana?
If you wish to have your call returned, please leave your name and number.
Nana! Nana, where you at? It is 6:17. I gave you time to get out the shower. I gave you time to read your Bible. I don't understand where you at. I know you hear me. Cordial. Nana, can you please call me back? Today's the last day of my show and my feelings are hurt. And I'm really sad. And I need words of encouragement. And I needed your encouragement today. I needed Motivational Monday on a Tuesday. So can you please call me back and give me encouraging words about my last show? Please and thank you. I love you. So, I didn't want to say this on air, but the FCC don't govern a motherfucking thing on my shit. So, since this is my shit, I am going to read you the article that has been sent to me 1,000,001 times from haters that are laughing to, oh wow, and a lot of others, people picked it up too. I didn't realize that. Where's the song at? Hold on. Okay. All right. FCC issues warnings to unlicensed radio stations in Dorchester and Mattapan. This was written by Rowan Walrath. She is a reporter correspondent. The federal officials are promising a more aggressive crackdown on unlicensed radio stations. And this has been edited because originally when this was sent to me, it said owners. And I'm not an owner. I'm far from an owner. I wish I was a damn owner because if I did, it would be all black radio all day long. So cracking down on unlicensed radio stations in Dorchester, Mattapan in a new approach signaled by a flurry of notice letters sent out by Federal Communications Commission's Enforcement Bureau to 3 stations this month. The letters were issued to individuals the commission says are affiliated with stations operating without a license on 3 FM bands, 101.3, 87.7, 106.3. According to the notices, if the radio stations do not cease operating immediately, the people named may be fined. I ain't got $10,000 to $100,000 to stay on air. So that's the real reason that I'm no longer, today's the last day. That's the real reason. Because ain't nobody got time. And ain't nobody got money. Ain't nobody got time, ain't nobody got money to be playing with the FCC. I'm not about that life, so it just is what it is. Moving on. The first notice was dated July 11th. It is addressed to, I'm not even going to say that, like, I think it's so fucking disrespectful for you to, not even spell my name right, and to put people's business all the way out there. But 106.3 got a letter, 101.3, like one individual at 106.3, one individual at 87.7, and one individual at 101.3. I don't know how the fuck TaylaAndre end up with a damn letter, but I ain't get a letter. They ain't sent me no letter, and until you pass that shit in my hand or you make me sign for it, I didn't get a letter, because I didn't get a letter. But the other notices were issued on July 13th, one addressed to Blase Blah, the other one addressed to TaylaAndre, who states that she has a morning show. Representatives from 87.7 did not immediately respond to the request, but the station's website indicates that that individual has a weekly program from 3 to 5. As 101.3, the reporter did not find any record of blank working there, but my jacked up, fucked up, they didn't get my name right. But the station has a morning show called Wake Up with TaylaAndre. Contacted by phone, Andre declined to comment. First and foremost, I told her that I didn't get a letter, and there's nothing for me to comment on because I didn't get a motherfucking letter. What you want me to comment on? But in here, in the article, it makes me seem like I'm some villain, like I'm trying to evade from the truth. I'm not. I didn't get a letter. So when she called me, I thought it was one of these haters out here. Jokey joke, laugh, laugh, ha, ha. Yo, call me when you post it. And she didn't call me when she posted it, but everybody else told me. We have a Boston office up there. This is from the FCC, David Domborinsky. We have a Boston office up there and an agent that we've brought in some additional agents to investigate these cases. We need to identify operators and go after them. They try to hide behind the building operators who may not be aware of the illegal stations, and they just move. The Federal Communications Media Relations Office did not immediately return calls for comment, including requests for clarification on names and addresses. This is not the first time that pirate radio outlets in Boston have faced aggressive enforcement. In 2014, a popular low-powered station, we all know what happened to Touch 106.1, but the truth of the matter is, do you know what happened to Boston back in the day? Do you know what happened to radio back in the day? Do you know that they have never given us what we deserve? They have never, like when black entrepreneurs went out for radio stations licenses, they were denied. Denied. Nope, you can't. Nope, you won't. Never. Go sit down. So, to anybody who has ever started a pirated show, the truth of the matter is, you gotta kick in the damn back door because they're not letting you through the front. You have to crawl through the windows. You gotta do what the fuck you gotta do. And the truth of the matter is, I ain't got $100,000 to do what the fuck I need to do, so I'm finna walk away. We about to do this shit from home. And until Oprah call me, because I've been calling her, she ain't returned the call yet. But until Oprah call me, we just gonna have to do what it do, baby. The Facebook Live be popping. The YouTube Live's popping. I'm gonna go ahead and start uploading everything back on to Mixcloud and SoundCloud. We have over 500 shows there. Had I been consistent, we'd probably be at 850. But once we started Facebook and Living, that's when I left the SoundCloud and Mixcloud alone, because it's a lot of work to edit it, to upload it. Well, actually, it's edited. Then you have to, like, transfer the file. Like, it's a lot of shit. It's a lot. And if I could be 100% transparent with you guys, the money that is not made in this position is made from passion. Like, what I get out of this is the passion for my people. That's what I get out of it. Because I love y'all, because I want nothing but goodness, and I hate for my people to perish for lack of knowledge. So I do what I do so we can know something. So we can know better, so we can do better, and so we can have more, and have a fucking Black Wall Street again. I can't tell you how bad I wish I had a couple $1 million to buy land in the middle of nowhere, nowhere's man's land, and set up Black Wall Street again. And it could be like like a tourist destination. People don't have to, like, people who want to live there can live there, but it can be a tourist destination. And the individual businesses that are tourists can come and stay for 6 weeks, for 3 months, for 6 months, and set up shop and have their business promoted on the new Black Wall Street. got you, Miss G, because I talk about every single last one of them. All of them. When you write, you write. I ain't finna argue with you when you write, but when you fuck up, I'm gonna call you out. And I expect people to do the same for me, and they do. I get called out a lot. I blush all the time, like, damn, yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't do that, and I didn't say that, and I said I was gonna do that, and I didn't do it. So, it is what it is. Wake Up with TaylaAndre. Today was the last show at Big City 101.3 FM. They can shut me down, but they can't shut me up, baby. I ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We just gonna find a different medium to do it through. So, I love you. I appreciate you. If you don't see me for a couple days, I am posting it's not a GoFundMe. It's, Nikki, what is it? It's not a GoFundMe. So the camera that I need, because right now my computer camera is not sufficient enough. It's not HD. Kickstarter. I am seeking your assistance. I'm seeking your help. If you give $25 or more, I will do your voicemail. Wake up with TaylaAndre. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Whatever you want me to say on your voicemail, I'll do your voicemail for you. If you give $50 or more, I'm the Team TaylaAndre with the Radio Rebel on the back is going to be your gift. Like, I really need help. So all the equipment is about $2,100 for me to set up shop at home. So if you know anybody who can assist, like, even if it's not a financial assistance, even if it's like, you know, Tayla, I want to gift you this camera, or I want to gift you a tripod, or I want to gift you an SD card, or like anything. Like, if you want to gift anything to contribute to the transition of the show until we're able to get on mainstream media, like, fuck mainstream, like, fuck it, because I want to be able to say fuck it sometimes, because sometimes you need to say fuck it. So I really want XM. Aside from XM, and Cheryl Smith is absolutely right. Like, you can have fucking no experience. You don't even have to be good at what you do. You just come in with a couple thousand followers, a couple million followers, and you can have whatever they want. They just throw money at you because of your followers. You could have bought those damn followers. They don't care. It's all about a numbers thing. And my numbers aren't in the millions. My numbers aren't super popping because I don't rub everyone I'm not pleasing everyone. And because I don't please everyone, it is what it is. I accept it. So, I even set up a Amazon gift list. So if you feel like my baby daddy and you don't want to give me money, but you ain't got no problem buying the kids stuff, I went ahead an Amazon gift list. So if there's anything from the gift list, it's like a registry type situation. If there's anything on the gift list that you want to purchase, if you have ideas on how to set up the home studio, if you have ideas on, like, Tayla, you really come on air with your hair in a scarf and t-shirts with sweatpants, and I want to dress you. Like, I think you need to put clothes on when you're in front of people. You're absolutely right. That was actually a complaint. So I welcome all criticism, however you think I can improve, whatever you think I need to do, because I listen to XM radio. I have a subscription. I listen, and I promise you, there is no one on XM that, like, asks the questions that I ask, that engage in the conversations that I engage in, that have the guests that I have. I think I'm one of the most diverse, the most versatile, the most authentic, and I don't think that there is anyone in radio that is better than me. There isn't. Like, I was listening to Angela Ray the other day, and I love her. I'm a huge fan, and she has a podcast, and I was listening to her podcast, and I was like, yo, she's not better than me. She's not better than me. There's no reason why I cannot be where she is, or I don't have the followers that she has. Like, she's not better than me. For me to feel like, oh, what am I doing wrong? I'm not positioned correctly. That's all it is. And how I feel is like, you guys know the water hoses, like the green water hoses, but when your mama or somebody was watering whatever, you go ahead and you bend it, and the water coming out, and they looking, and they shaking it, and then you let it go, and it's like, shh. That's how I feel. I feel I'm in this type of position, and whatever I got to do to loosen it up, I'm going to follow my heart, I'm going to follow my spirits, I'm going to follow my guides, and I'm going to listen to my God. And I have to walk away. So with that being said, I love you. I appreciate you. I will make sure that the Kickstarter is up by the end of the day. The Amazon gift list will be up by the end of the day. If you know anybody that is looking to buy a house, I'm not helping with rentals. We need to own some shit. If you could actually see what's going on out here with these CDCs that do not have your best interests at heart, that are buying property for $500 fucking dollars, that are buying 130,000 square feet for $2,500, and then building unaffordable fucking housing in the city of Boston, it's time to buy a house. It's time to buy a house. I've already been in the process of saving my money, getting my credit right. Don't think for 5 seconds that I sit up here and preach to you and don't go through the same shit you going through. Don't think for 5 seconds that I am any better than you, because I am not. My credit fucked up. I ain't got no savings. And I don't know. Julia Mejia posted back in the day, I used to live paycheck to paycheck. Now I live to check, direct deposit to direct deposit. Like, I'm struggling like you. I hurt like you. That's why I sound like you. That's why I talk like you, because I am no different than you. Don't think for 5 seconds that I think I'm better than you, that I know I'm better than you. I give you the information and the tools that I need, and if I need them, then I know you need them. So, my landlord just raised my rent $400. $400 a month. So please believe, when I am so ready, I might have to move to Acton. I don't even know where that is. It sounds really, really far, but they have houses for the low. I can't do this shit no more. So, Nikki Curry is the best publicist on earth. I don't know her email address, but she's Nikki Curry, Nikki Curry, Curry, like the chicken. She's on Facebook. She is the best publicist on earth. If you need somebody to help you with your media, you need somebody to help you with your music, you need somebody to whatever it is that you have, a book, whatever it is that you need, she is the best fucking publicist on earth. She go hard for you. She work hard for you. She rock hard for you. She don't sleep for you, and she go all the way in. She's attentive. I've never met Nikki face to face, but I love her. Like an auntie, like a cousin, like a mama. I love Nikki. I don't know if she's still here. Yay, she's still here. I love you. I thank you. You've been rocking with me for a year, over a year now. We've had some amazing guests because of you. And how do I say goodbye? I'm going to start crying, so I'm just going to go.